does he have the makeup to take his game to an extremely next level, or good enough to be a better manager of the game?
I wouldn't say he's a manager. I mean, he's the undisputed leader of the team. Everybody
Right.
follows. I mean, he's got great leadership qualities. That's a good thing. I worry, Gunner, not just with Jalen, but there's a whole group of guys that have
Right.
played this game,
Right.
where their instinct is to run when things break down around them. And the great ones, including Matt Stafford this past year, or Brady, the great ones have an ability to stay in there and take the hit and deliver the ball, accurately.
Hey, welcome back in, everybody. Hour number 3 of the program. Very excited to talk to our next guest. He does just an unbelievable job, and my man lives life to the fullest. There's always an adventure when it comes to Brian Baldinger, our next guest. You catch him out on the NFL Network, many other platforms as well. Baldy, I need the excursions. Give me an excursion breakdown of this past summer. Where you've been.
Rob, how much time do you have? I mean,
Baldy,
come on, Gunner.
Baldy. Baldy,
it's
before
not
you
just
start,
one excursion.
Yeah, before you start, Baldy, I have to tell you this. I'm a little disappointed as I sit here and look at you right now, because I fully expected you to be swinging from a hammock with a pineapple drink in one hand and people fanning you with palm leaves.
Gunner, I did all that. We have accomplished all of that this offseason. I will be at the Eagles morning practice tomorrow. I'm focused now, but 2 weeks ago today, I was in the Yucatan off the coast of Mexico swimming with whale sharks, because I just always wanted to swim with whale sharks. So it was a good experience.
Yeah, Baldy does not get cheated, man. He does not get cheated in the game of life. I will just say that.
How many different countries have you been to?
Colombia, Costa Rica, Panama, Italy. I was in 5 this year.
5 just this year.
Just this year.
God. All right.
I've been to 68, though. I've been to 68 countries.
68 countries. Wow.
All right, Baldy, best scenery. We take that for however you want to take it, but the best scenery is which country?
Well, they have a beach in Costa Rica, Rob. I mean, if you just want to play the game of, like who's a 9 or who's a 10, you could go to, Playa Santa Teresa, and you could play that game all day long. They're just surfers and yogis, that's kind of who's there from all over the world. So whatever floats your boat, you can definitely run into them.
I trust your scouting reports when it comes to that stuff. That's for sure. All right, I got to show you. So I got to get your reaction to this, okay? Because this was today.
Crazy.
And this was Derek's guy making his first appearance at Packers camp today. Now I need you to. You're a film guy, okay? You study film quite a bit, but
all right.
Xander's going to bring this up for us. It's Aaron Rodgers making his debut, doing his best. I think Nicolas Cage. So here you go. Here it comes. This is
that a
earlier.
movie set or is that Lambeau Field?
I'm telling you, I'm trying to figure out is it Con Air? Is it Lambeau Field?
He's a poor man's Fabio.
Yeah, there's a lot, and he just drops the bag too, Baldy. That's a boss move.
I mean, does he just have handlers that pick his stuff up? I mean, does he have MVP handlers? Like you got all those kids out there riding the bicycles and carrying your helmet.
Yeah.
Is there a kid that's coming along on his little tricycle and going to pick up the bag for the MVP?
Something tells me that wasn't happening.
Yeah. That's quite an entrance right there.
That's unbelievable. That wasn't happening for you at Westchester back in the day, I don't think, Baldy, right?
No, I still don't own that T-shirt. It's not in my. It's
a tough one to pull off. Yeah,
not even when you're in the Yucatan on the beach. No.
I'd rather just go shirtless, Gunner. Like, I don't need anything on like that. Maybe a little bit of sunscreen, but I'm not a big fan of it. So I'm ready to go.
Right, he is. Rodgers is a different cat, man.
Yep.
He is a whole different breed.
I remember I was talking to one of his teammates this year. We were working out, and he's just telling me how some days he just walks in the huddle and he's like, he's calling a play while he's just like picking grass off his shoelaces. It's just, you know what I mean? It's just, his mind is someplace else. It's like so deep in thought. I've often said, I think he could play at a really high level just in a tuxedo. I don't think he would get dirty and you wouldn't even know that it got mussed up.
It's amazing. It's amazing. All right. So I want to jump around a little bit, but actually, you know what, while we're at it, what are your thoughts on the Kyler Murray contract clause where they're forcing him essentially to do 4 hours of study away from the complex? Like, my first reaction is, if you don't trust him that much, don't give him that deal, man. But where do you stand on that?
Well, the clause though, Rob, says a minimum of 4 hours a week. I'm saying, what quarterback isn't spending 4 hours a day?
Exactly.
Forget about 4 hours a week. I mean, 4 hours a day is like the minimum for some of these guys, the bare minimum. So, look, I understand. Ronnie Lott wasn't a film guy. I mean, there's some guys that just, they're not film guys. They use their instincts. But I don't know a quarterback that is good in this league that doesn't live in the film room and trying to find anything that they can use to their advantage in the upcoming game.
Yeah, not a good sign, I don't think, for the Cardinals and that whole relationship there in Arizona, man. But let's talk some Eagles here, Baldy. Yeah. And I guess my first question would be regarding them. For a team that looks like they did a hell of a job in the offseason, how good does Hurts have to be for them to be successful? Does he have to be marginally better than last year? Way better? And I mean, if they're going to win a playoff game or two or get to an NFC championship game or beyond.
Well, I think, Rob, I think we would all agree, Gunnar, you too, on this. I would say last year that they were a very schizophrenic team. They started off, they looked like a Big 12 offense. Then they pulled it in, it became a running offense. And then they would forget about that and they go to the Giants and stink it up, or get to the playoffs and go to Tampa and not challenge Vita Vea and Ndamukong Suh. So some of it, Rob, says, okay, Nick, let's get this identity thing figured out. And if Jalen is a big part of a powerful running attack, which I believe he should be, then I don't think he has to be great. I don't think he has to be, a guy that's completing 70% of his passes and throwing for 4,000 yards. I think you can be in the 63, 64%, 3,800 yards, 24 touchdowns, 8 interceptions in that category, and still be in contention to win the NFC East. But I kind of got to know what their identity is going to be, because it was all over the place a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Baldy, let me ask you this about Jalen then, because I know you watch a ton of film and you've watched this kid throughout his career. From what you can tell, does he have the makeup to take his game to an extremely next level, or good enough to be a better manager of the game?
I wouldn't say he's a manager. I mean, he's the undisputed leader of the team. Everybody follows him. I mean, he's got great leadership qualities. That's a good thing. I worry, Gunner, not just, with Jalen, but there's a whole group of guys that have played this game, where their instinct is to run when things break down around them. And the great ones, including Matt Stafford this past year, or Brady, the great ones have an ability to stay in there and take the hit and deliver the ball, accurately. And I have to see that from Jalen. I haven't seen a lot of that, but I believe that if he just feels pressure and he's just going to roll out to his left and, try to make something happen in a scramble drill, I think there's a ceiling to that in what you can do. We've seen that from Mike Vick. We've seen it from different guys. Carson had, similar type traits at times. So I want to see him grow in the pocket, Gunner. I know he can outrun a lot of his competition, and that's not bad. But if it's 3rd and 12, you're not going to scramble for a lot of first downs. You're going to have to find AJ, find Dallas, find Devontae. You're going to have to find these guys down the field, and you're going to have to make good reads and throw the ball on anticipation and timing. And that is a growth that I want to see from him this year.
Baldy, that said, do you
Okay.
trust that, or have you not seen enough, or where do you stand on the Sirianni Steichen getting him to that next level where he is that guy that you're referring to?
Well, if you remember last year in a couple of games, at least one for sure, like Nick was really hard on Jalen. And, there was like a little, dispute, and it came out in the press conference and all that. And really, Jalen wants that. He wants to be coached hard. He had all kinds of different guys at Alabama. Nobody coached him hard. He went to Oklahoma and Lincoln Riley, coached him hard. He learned a lot from Lincoln. Doug Peterson was here, didn't learn a lot. He wants to be coached. He wants to be, instructed. He wants to grow. And if that means calling him out in a press conference or trying to settle things right on the field to stop it on a sideline, then do it. Because I think he's wired to handle it. As we know, some guys aren't wired to handle it.
Oh, yeah.
But I think he's wired to handle that. And I think he needs that. So I think he needs to be told, like, look, like the throw is there. Make the throw. And like sit down and like I want to see Shane this year the way Andy Reid sits down with Patrick Mahomes after every series and go through the plays. Like this is the throw you got to make, Jalen. Like it's open. The curl's coming. Like stay on it. Like make the throw. Trust the receiver. Trust the route. Trust the route combination. So I want to see that this year from him.
Hey Baldy, your thoughts on Jonathan Gannon, and now that he has a better surplus of talent to play games with and better chess pieces, do you expect to see a different style of attacking defense? Do you expect to see more read and react from this guy? I mean, you know Gannon better than I do, and so I wouldn't I would like to know what you think of what he's anticipating doing with a better crop of players now.
Well, I hope we see something different, Gunnar. I mean, if you remember that Kansas City game last year,
oh yeah,
the safeties were lined up in Citizens Bank Park. Like they couldn't even find them, And so, look, Slay wants to play press man.
Yep.
You can play him like that. Bradbury's been an excellent zone corner. Avante is just a pit bull. Like I think they've got guys that can play right now. I think they've got an 8-man front that can chase and get after the quarterback way better than they did a year ago. So if you have a lot of those pieces, and I think Kazir White, and I happen to like TJ at linebacker. Some people don't, but I think that guy is a really good football player. But I think they're better everywhere. So if that's the case, like let's put these guys in positions where they can really challenge the opposition and not let Brady and Mahomes and some of these elite players if you back off on these guys, they're going to carve you up. Like it's just going to carve you up. Like, so I want to see them press the line of scrimmage and challenge these guys more than they did a year ago. And that would be a good start if we could see that week 1 in Detroit.
Baldy, do we make too much of the varying fronts that the Eagles are going to use? I mean, I know they did it to an extent last year, but they have better personnel now. Do we make too much of that, or is that just kind of the way the league's going, or are they going to be unique as much as they incorporate that?
Well, I mean, I think that there's some teams that are real multiple. Jonathan comes out of a scheme in Indianapolis that was basically a 4-man front, 4-man zone behind it. Rally to the ball, 10 guys to the football. I mean, you watch the Colts play defense. They've been a top 10 defense the last 2 years, and that's how they play. They got excellent personnel. They got playmaking linebackers. I mean, they're stacked. So I think the Eagles, I don't know if their personnel, because I don't think they have a DeForest Buckner. And they don't have a middle linebacker like Darius Leonard. But I do think that they have excellent personnel this year. And so I would expect them to see more in a 4-man front, Rob. Okay. Then, Hassan Reddick can be a stand-up linebacker. He can drop and all that kind of stuff. Hassan Reddick's a better football player if he's going after the quarterback. And so I tend to think that they're going to be in a 4-man front with a 4-man rush probably, 90% of the time.
And how do you incorporate Jordan Davis? How would you incorporate him into this scheme?
Well, I mean, no, look, nobody loves Fletcher Cox more than me. Like, he looks exactly the same to me, Gunnar, today as he did 10 years ago when he got drafted. He's ageless. He's never had a health issue, always is in shape. But if you draft Jordan Davis with the 13th pick, just make the move.
Mm-hmm.
Make the move. Put him in there next to Javon Hargrave. Because what happens is if you bring Fletcher back and you pay Fletcher what you paid him, you're not going to have money to really re-sign Javon Hargrave. He's going to go back to Pittsburgh with Andy Weidel, and you're going to lose a really good young player. So, I didn't really agree with that move. I just think if you draft this kid with the 13th pick, play him. Literally play him. Now, if you've got Fletcher and Hargrave and you got all these Ridgeway, you got all these guys inside, Milton Williams, he's going to be part of a rotation. I'm anxious to see if he's on the field on third downs and what he gives you on third downs when you got to get after the quarterback.
Hey, Baldy, what does the addition of A.J. Brown do in terms of opening up the field more in the passing game?
Well, I think the first thing, in just talking to Jalen about this this year, is A.J. catches the ball with his hands.
Yeah.
He's got big, strong hands. Takes his shirt off, he looks like a freak.
Oh, my goodness.
But he catches the ball with his hands, Gunner. He's the only receiver for the Eagles that do it. It bugs Jalen that guys use their bodies to catch it, even Devontae sometimes.
Yeah.
So what it does is it tells the quarterback, the receiver trusts his hands. He believes in his hands. And it gives the defensive back less time to react. So that's number one. He's excellent after the catch. You could throw, the 5-yard slants, West Coast offense stuff. Throw the 5-yard slant, and he can go a long ways with it. He's going to break tackles. He's really strong. He's good after the catch. I just think quarterbacks have to discover, develop, believe in a go-to guy. You can't just sit there and read coverage every single play and just, okay, coverage can tell you where to go with the ball. All right. Well, there's disguises. Things happen. You go up against elite defenses. You can't just always do that.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you just got to go, I'm dropping back and I'm giving it to you. You say it in the huddle. Randall used to do it. Freddie, I'm coming to you. There's nothing wrong with that. There's just moments in a game. You just got to make the play. And I'm coming to you, AJ. If you get this look, I'm coming to you. Regardless what the play is, sometimes you just have to play that way. And the quarterbacks got to think that way. And I think AJ gives him that type of guy.
Baldy, in looking at it, and you obviously played back in the day. We referenced when there were two-a-days and it was crazy back then and what everything went on. But you're also someone who's very much keeps up with the game in a modern way. The NFL's gone to extremes now where they don't maybe put in the same kind of time on the practice field, and the Eagles probably take it to a different level. Does that concern you for this team that they're going to be ready to go out of the chute to start the season?
It does, but they do have 2 separate scrimmages this year, Rob. Mm-hmm. So, I'm going to see them against the Dolphins down in Miami. Howie believes in that. I think Nick believes in that. Otherwise, they wouldn't be doing it. So I think you get a lot of work in, 2 days of really hard work before you play these preseason games, which I think can really benefit a team, especially with the restrictions that you have. I think the restrictions out there, Rob, I believe in safety. But be honest with you, there was no Jordan Davis in the NFL when I played. That animal didn't exist. So there's just Landon Dickerson didn't exist in the NFL when I was playing. 335-pound, just John Deere tractors. Just they weren't on anybody's offensive line. So a 385-pound Jordan Mailata didn't exist. So the game has changed. I think the safety things are good, but you got to figure out a way to get the work in so that you can really properly evaluate young players and make sure you don't miss out on somebody that might have a chance to really develop.
Hey, Baldy, across the board, the players obviously wanted to have less practice time, which they got in their latest collective bargaining agreement. But when you look at the abundance of injuries across the league over the last few years, how much of a disservice has it done to the players in terms of hardening their bodies, both mentally and physically, for the rigors that come?
It's a major disservice, Gunner. I mean, you all remember Andy Reid's first week of practice.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we remember seeing Brian Westbrook tackled to the ground in that first week of practice, where there was really an emphasis on conditioning the body and a lot of contact. Now, he backed off and all that, but that first week, I mean, back in the day, that was about as tough and physical as you'd see anywhere in the league. And I think, You just didn't see the type of injuries that you see now.
Right.
And so I think I don't have studies and I'm not doing any studies, but I just know from playing in that type of environment that all of a sudden the soreness and, the dislocated fingers or dislocated elbows, it goes away. It goes away and you toughen the body and you just don't see the number of injuries. I mean, we went years in Dallas, Gunner, without having an ACL tear.
Mm-hmm.
Now, like, these things are so prevalent. You like hold your breath every day they go out there.
Yeah, you're right. Baldy, I see you're in the lab, man. So what are we what are the charts behind you? What are we breaking down today? What's on the agenda?
Well, I've got a production call here for Total Access tonight in about 10 minutes.
Okay.
I've got my first week of travel right there. I'll be at the Eagles tomorrow, the Giants Thursday, Denver Saturday, Giants on Sunday, Jets on Monday, Buffalo on Wednesday, on and on and on. So, like, I'm on this training camp tour. So, but it's never a bad day if you're just sitting in here and you just like throw a quarterback up on the screen. Like I was just watching Justin Herbert, like at 10 o'clock last night, just because I had time.
Yeah,
and I'd already watched Shark Week. So, like Justin Herbert, he just has this. If you haven't seen him just warm up and throw the ball live, you won't see a quarterback. I don't care what their name is, spin the ball any better than Justin Herbert. Like you can actually hear the ball whistle through the air. He's something to watch. So I just like going back and watching these quarterbacks, and just because we've never seen an age like we have right now.
Yeah, with
the level of quarterback play that we get to watch. And as an analyst, when you get great quarterback play, like just get out of the way. Just let those guys do the talking.
Well, hey, Baldy, now that you brought up the AFC West, I mean, when you look at the wealth of talent they have at its quarterback position now and also pass rushers in that division, who emerges as king of the hill when the dust settles in that division now?
I know we're a little bit partial, but I can't go against Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. I just looked this up yesterday. Patrick Mahomes has never lost a road division game since he went to Kansas City. He's 13-0.
Wow.
On the road in his division. Like, think about it. You go into Denver, you go, the Chargers, I mean, all those places. He's never lost a division game.
Wow.
So, he is 16-1 against the Broncos and the Raiders.
Damn.
16-1. Like the Raiders beat him once. Broncos have never beaten him. Like they have. And then look, even before there was Mahomes and Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, Andy Reid was taking the Chiefs to the playoffs. 6 straight years now. Like we've seen a dominance, almost like what the Patriots did in their division. That's
incredible.
So, look, the Chargers are probably the closest competition to them. They have beaten them a couple times, but to me, it's still Andy Reid and the Chiefs.
Okay,
that's interesting. Baldy, last one. If they're a team that's maybe teetering that you feel like is being overhyped or underhyped, either way, is there a team you look at that maybe, is going to surprise some people? It could be anybody. Take your pick. Miami. I don't know. Is there anybody you see in that boat?
Well, I do see Miami taking a big jump. I'm a big, like, I like Mike McDaniel. There's a term of year, but it's like Revenge of the Nerds. With Mike. Like he doesn't look like a football coach. He doesn't sound like one. But damn it, if he doesn't come out of a film room with ideas that nobody else really understands, like he is, like they get the talent is there, but I expect Miami to be very good this year. I don't know if they're good enough like Buffalo. Buffalo just wipes them up like ridiculous what they do to them. But I expect Miami to be a playoff team this year.
All right, Baldy, I got 2 quick questions before I'm done with you. First of all, what do you make of the Deshaun Watson situation? How many games do you think he's going to get? And how for Cleveland to give him that kind of money, man, you talk about spinning the roulette wheel on their season. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. I don't know what to expect. I don't know. I don't know what the league is thinking. I hear all the rumors, like you've heard all the rumors about what could happen. I know this. The day that they signed Deshaun Watson to a $230 million guaranteed contract, they signed Jacoby Brissett the next day. They signed him to be the backup quarterback. And that's what Jacoby is. He's a backup quarterback. He's 14-23 as a starter. He's on his 4th team in 7 years. He's a backup. It's not a knock. There's been a lot of backups that have made a great career in this business, and been paid and had a great career. Like, that's what Jacoby is. And if he has to start a majority of the season, they sign Josh Rosen, that's not a good sign. That's not a good sign.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have a lot of hope for Cleveland this year, regardless of what happens.
No, Baldy, listen, man, we appreciate it. Gunnar, do you have a follow-up?
Yeah, final question. I got to ask you about this one because Bill Belichick rarely gives out accolades to anybody, but he came out and said Mac Jones is really taking that next level. When you look at Mac Jones, you look at what he did last year, 22 touchdowns, 13 INTs. He broke the rookie record for consecutive completions by a rookie. Could Mac Jones be that next great quarterback?
He's different. Like, if you ever watch him on the sideline, Gunnar, like, you'll see him sometimes like he's just staring in space, not even blinking. It's bizarre. I asked him about it. He said it's a meditation thing that he uses. And it calms his mind and it kind of cleans the slate. So last year, he threw 2 pick sixes, one to Trayvon Diggs and one to Xavier Howard.
Mm-hmm. So
you throw a pick six, you put your team in a hole, and he came right back. Next play after that Trayvon Diggs pick, he throws a 75-yard touchdown pass the next play. Like, he has this ability to just eliminate the bad play and get on with it. I don't think he has a big arm. I don't know how much that comes into play, but he is a winner. He is a winner. A big part of his agency is right here in Philadelphia. A lot of his promotion staff. So I've seen these guys around every once in a while. But I actually, to this day, am shocked the 49ers didn't take him with the 3rd pick.
Interesting. Yeah, and Baldy, they've made it known. It's Trey Lance's game now. They're trying to trade Garoppolo. Right move?
Well, you trade up twice. You give up 3 number 1 draft picks to get to the number 3 pick, and you take the guy. The clock is ticking. You got 5 years to make this work. You got to get him on the field. And it's hard to win games with a young quarterback. He has started a total since he left high school. He has started a total of 19 games.
Wow.
Since he left high school. Like, he just hasn't played a lot of football. He threw 71 passes last year.
Yeah.
Like, you got to let this kid play and take his lumps if there are lumps. But I to think that he could just come out and, take a team to an NFC championship game, I just don't think that's going to happen right now. I think there's a big learning curve to what he's going to do.
Baldy, we appreciate it, man. Again,
Thank
follow
you,
him on
brother.
Twitter at Baldy NFL, NFL Network, Fox Sports, Compass Media, Odyssey as well. Baldy, you're the best, man. Take care.
Thank you, brother. Safe travels.
All the best. All right, that's Brian Baldinger. He's got to hop onto a production meeting, so we appreciate him giving us a couple of minutes today, man. He's the man. Baldy's the guy. He is. He's always fun to talk to. He's got a great. I'm telling you, Gunnar, this dude, when it's football season, he is locked in.
Yep.
But when it's not, he goes out there and has some fun, man.
And he's locked in when it's not also.
Oh yeah.
68 countries? Wow.
That's incredible. He's not going to be one of these guys in old age, like with regrets that he didn't get out of the house and do his thing. That's for
he's
sure.
Swimming with killer whales, dolphins.
Amazing.
Jeez.
Incredible. All right, so let's do this. Let's do a quickie. We'll come back. We'll hit a bunch of different things. There's some NFL stuff that's kind of weird. We got some good movies on this date, birthdays, big Phillies thing on this date as well. A bunch of other stuff that we will get to. We'll continue with the football talk as well. So don't go anywhere. Derek Gunn, Rob Ellis, Barrett's off today. We are Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network.